Well, and I don't either, which is why I declined at first, but I figured it's not going to hurt. I think that might be the last one. Yes, that one's low for both of us, I think. If we put it in the middle, it should probably be close enough. Did you stand up here? Yes, it's close enough.
Yeah. For this story.
Well, I mean, now it's dipping.
And then I'll put it down for myself, for my sermon.
Well, I think if you put it about there, that is right for you.
Okay.
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And it works for me.
All right.
Yeah. Wow, it feels like it's close. Feels like it's close. Yeah. Good morning. My name is Michael Kay, and I'm a member of this congregation. Mariah Brown will light our chalice. Please join me in our chalice lighting words found in your order of service. We light this chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, to remind us to connect in spirituality and service, to care for each other and the world, and to create love and community. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a man who found himself to be in a great amount of debt to his banker. We'll call this man Harley. Harley had a beautiful daughter who was very much in love with her childhood sweetheart, and they planned to marry one day as soon as her father could pay for the wedding. Harley went to his banker, a miserly, snarly old fellow who strongly desired Harley's beautiful daughter, and he offered to make a deal with him. The banker would forgive Harley's debt completely if he allowed him to marry his daughter. And yes, this was a long time ago when young women needed their father's permission to marry. Harley told his daughter about this plan, and as you can imagine, she was most distressed. So Harley went back to his banker and said, "Please, my daughter wants to marry the love of her life. Have some mercy." So the banker said,
I will give her a 50-50 chance to marry whom she loves.
As they walked along a stone pathway, the banker said,
I will put a white stone and a black stone from this pathway into a bag. And then your daughter will reach into the bag and choose one. If she chooses the black stone, she will marry me. If she chooses the white stone, she can marry her beloved. And if you both agree to this, I will clear your debt regardless of which stone she chooses.
Harley and his daughter agreed, and as they walked along the stone path, the banker stooped to pick up 2 stones, not realizing that the daughter was watching. She watched as he picked up 2 black stones and put them in the bag. Now, what should she do? Should she refuse to play the game? Should she take out both stones and expose the banker's cheating? Should she just pick a stone and sacrifice herself for her father and marry the banker? She picked a stone from the bag, but then she dropped it onto the stone path. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she said.
Oh, clumsy girl, it's impossible to tell which stone you chose.
"Oh, that's not a problem," she said. "All we need to do is look in the bag to see what color stone is left. And we'll know I chose the other color." And what color was left in the bag? Because the banker didn't want to appear a cheat, he had to act as if the stone the daughter had chosen was white. And she was able to marry her beloved after all. And they all lived happily ever after. Except the banker.
This story always reminds me that we don't always need to give in to the options we were given, right? Today we'll be talking about living creatively, and often that means thinking outside the box, thinking differently. Welcome to worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro. I am Reverend Patty Hanneman. I'm serving as the minister of this congregation during Reverend Sadie's sabbatical. Unitarian Universalists believe that each person has a trustworthy relationship with the Spirit, with the holy, with the source of all life, what some people refer to as God. Though we name it and know it differently from one another, we believe that because we are interconnected, nobody is free until we are all free. So we strive to build a beloved community here on earth, in this fellowship, in our fellowship with one another, and our work for justice. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger today because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, many sexualities and genders. We are all growing, all learning, and all loved. I would remind you now that whenever a cell phone makes a noise during a worship experience, an angel has her wings plucked off. So I encourage you now to turn your phones off, please. Our ministry team here at UUCG is Cindy Dillard, our Director of Children's and Youth Ministry, Julie Hamilton, our Congregational Administrator, Luke Steichleather, our Experimental Director of Music, and, even though she's on sabbatical, the Reverend Sadie Lansdale. Michael Kay is serving as our worship associate this morning and will now lead us in our congregational covenant.
A covenant contains the promises we make to one another in response to the great gift of living, holding ourselves to these holy aspirations. Will you join me in our church covenant? We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, do covenant to promote a search for personal meaning, respecting the individual truth in a community process of quest. Speak and act with caring, courtesy, and love, thereby maintaining emotional, physical, and spiritual safety for all. Support UUCG and denominational efforts with our resources. Combat injustice while promoting equality. Nurture our children on their spiritual journey. Hold ourselves to this covenant, especially during times of conflict and disagreement. Please join in our opening hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Thank you.
If you're joining us in the sanctuary, won't you wave hello to everyone joining us online? If you're online, go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat. If you're in person, let's greet our neighbors.
It's beautiful to be together this morning. We gather in gratitude this morning, turning our hearts to thanks and praise, and I am especially grateful this morning that on my way here I saw the most gorgeous rainbow. What a gift it is to be living. in the presence of the Spirit that animates all life, and in the knowledge that we are powerfully, profoundly connected to all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. During this few minutes of silence, you can focus on something you are grateful for, or someone you are remembering, especially today, or just the sensation of your chair supporting you. Find a comfortable place in your seat. Take a few breaths as we breathe in together in this community, and breathe out. Whatever is in your heart this morning, we bring it before this community and before the holy in this sacred time and space. If you're online, this is a time to share your joys and sorrows with one another on the chat, and then we will share it with those who are present this morning. If you're here in person and you have a milestone you would like to be added to our prayers, you can fill out a yellow card and then the ushers will collect these from you. If you or someone you know needs help with medical bills, rent, groceries, or other needs, my email and telephone number are on the back of your order of service. You may contact me, or you can contact the church through our website to access the minister's discretionary fund. If there's a joy on your heart, place a plant in the vase. If there's a sorrow, place a stone in the bowl. You may light a candle of prayer and presence for someone you're holding close to you at either of the far tables. If you're not sure how you're feeling, or maybe you're feeling a little antsy, there are pipe cleaners in the back to fidget with. Or you may have brought needlework that you are free to do. In church, we practice becoming more fully human, and this is our time to take stock of how we have arrived here, to take what we need, knowing that the table has been set for us all. Will you join me in prayer and presence? In this moment, bathed in silence and song, we offer our joys and sorrows alike, knowing that they are woven fine. Tishgun has a sorrow this morning that her mother, Nancy, is suffering from a compression fracture in her back, and her pain is limiting her mobility. So she asks that we send her mother good vibes. And Sophia has a concern this morning that her papa's not feeling very well. Nora Bird celebrates the gift of visiting with her 4 sisters and her niece. And Dean says he is especially grateful this morning that he has his warm kitty. Spirit of life and love, God of many names and beyond all naming, source of all. We are surrounded by the most astounding, miraculous wonder of all, which is each other, being here in community. Ongoing caring about life ongoing. We are grateful for this caring, and for your caring, and for your grace that so often takes the shape of our own hands and hearts. May we have the presence of mind to watch for your grace in our lives on this very day. Amen, and blessed be.
Now children ages 4th grade and younger are invited to join their teachers in the RE wing for snack, play, and fellowship. Let's sing them out. Go in peace, go in love, go in joy.
It's all children and youth.
Oh, everybody!
All children and youth.
So I have never thought of myself as a creative person. I'm that person who, if you've ever been at a workshop where they give you a so-called break to go make a collage or write a poem or draw a picture of what you're experiencing in the workshop, I begin to break out in a cold sweat. I mean, who wants the embarrassment of coming back to the group with your little stick figures, right? That are going to be compared to that skillfully rendered drawing of the person that's sitting next to you. And I am not, I tell myself at moments like this, that I am not a creative person. Now, I used to love creating things. When I was a kid, I grew up on a farm, and I would spend hours out in the woods or in the meadows, pastures, picking up feathers and milkweed pods, cattails, stones, all kinds of things. And then I'd bring them back and usually spray paint them with gold paint and glue them together to make a centerpiece of some sort, and then stick a candle in the middle of them. My mother rarely used these centerpieces, though. A fact that I now realize is probably due to the fact that they were all fire hazards. But that did not deter me until the day that my best friend Mary looked at one of these creations and said, "Wow, that's really ugly." I can still hear that voice. And who among us has not had a similar experience? As a minister, one of the ways that I get to be creative is through the spiritual practice of planning worship and writing sermons. And because I still have a hard time thinking of myself as a creative person, hearing Mary's voice in the back of my head, I keep a poem on my desk by the Reverend Peter Fredericks. And I often start my sermons by reading it. It's called Each New Day. Why is this blank page staring back at me, mocking, like an affliction fraught with dread? How can it hold such sway, this simple emptiness? Might it instead be a gift left on my doorstep overnight, waiting to be broken open with the dawn? A present, eager to emerge, if only I had the sense to hold the paper over a candle flame, its lemon juice message appearing like magic, clear and true. Each day is like this. Pure air devoid of density, but for the weight of our own invention. Birds do not worry about the morning or fret the rising sun. They wait, expectant, until its rays kiss their downy necks, and then stretching, they turn to face the day and sing. This poem helps me remember that creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. And to turn our face to the dawn and sing, or to create anything new, is what we are born to do. The Unitarian process theologian Henry Nelson Wyman, who I talked a little bit about last time I was here, understood the power of creativity and went so far as to associate this power with the experience of the divine. Wyman defined God as creative process, not a persona, an experience, not an entity. He believed that God happens within us, to us, between us, each time we engage with each other or with new ideas in ways that create something new. Each time we create something new, we experience God, he said. God is the thing, he said, that drives us to interact creatively in new ways that bless the world. God provides the urge toward new ideas, new insights, new relationships, new connections. And God loves diversity and beauty and joy and people who feel alive and fully human. And this happens when we create. When we open ourselves to creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us. Creativity is, in fact, God's greatest gift to us. And when we use that creativity, we gift it back to God. In her book, Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert offers a non-theological approach to creativity that's very much in line with Wyman's process theology. The magical creative spirit, she writes, calls to us, always hoping that we are going to be open to hearing it and then bring it into being. There are creative ideas out there flowing around us at all times, and we just need to catch it, to pay attention to it. If we don't listen to it, though, she says, it will move on to someone else because the idea has a hankering to be made manifest. So, given that this creative impulse is both sacred and magical, why don't we seek it out more? Why do we try to convince ourselves that we are not creative people? In fact, if Wyman and Gilbert are to be believed, when we refuse to be creative, which I believe is often an act of self-will, we are acting counter to our true nature. Why, my friends, do we refuse this gift? Why do we not want to be open to our innate creativity? It's complicated, but it's also very simple. I believe that our egos tend to get in the way whenever we confuse creativity with talent. And once that confusion has us by the tail, we can become blind to all the ways the creative spirit is trying to be at work in our lives. So let's look at some of those egocentric messages we tell ourselves that cause us to ignore that call to create. First of all, I think we often have a narrow concept of art, the culturally recognized product of creativity, right? The world of art and critique are often way too closely related to each other. Film critics, literature critics, dance critics, critics of visual art and theater reviews. I'm not saying that critique is not without merit, because standards of talent do and should exist, but here we go again, confusing creativity with talent. Art in its broadest sense, I think, can be thought of as the product of any creative process, even if it's just milkweed pods. Whenever we take materials at hand and we create something new, that thing is a piece of art. A newly planted garden is a work of art. The trickster answer of the beautiful daughter in our story this morning, that was an artful response. A new recipe using staples that we have in our pantry is a work of art. A day well lived is a work of art. When we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, when we can see many of the things that we normally do throughout our day as part of the creative process, we open ourselves to the holy. The second thing I think that trips us up is to focus too heavily on this product, this art piece, instead of the process itself. So whether our art piece is stones and flowers spray painted with gold, or something that would meet the standards of a professional critic, the real prize is the aliveness we feel by engaging in the process. I'm not sure how all you will feel about this, but the fact is that nothing will cause writer's block for me faster than me worrying about how you're going to take what I'm saying on Sunday mornings. That will come later in other drafts. I actually do care about what you think, but I can't think about it from the very beginning. I have to think about what I need to be reminded of about this topic. What is it about this topic that stirs my interest? And how might it help me grow? Because frankly, if I come up here and say something that doesn't feel like it's helping me grow, it's very likely not going to stir you at all either. So I start with my process by honoring whatever it is inside of me that feels like it needs to come forward. Creativity is always foremost about our own well-being. It is our communion with the divine and our way of being most fully human. So if we can hold on to that image of co-creating with the divine, we can become less focused on product. Our egos always want to see our art projects as shoring up our own self-image or pleasing others, making others appreciate us. But if we can let go of that need and we think about expression instead of impression, it will feel safer to open up to being more creative. And lastly, our self-will can get in the way whenever we feel like we need to really sludge through a project. You know, sometimes we think, oh, I just one more espresso and I know those ideas are going to come. But people who work with creativity will tell you that it's only when we're relaxed and our alpha waves are cycling through our brains that we can make the kind of connections between notes or words or ideas or shapes or colors that something new can be created. I took a writing class years ago at Duke with a professor named Melissa Malouf, and one of the most important lessons that she taught us was that every writing project begins with a nap. Because when we relax, we open our creative channels to the great creator. The Bible begins with a creation story. And this time of year, the earth's creative energy is all around us. We are ourselves, creations. And we, in turn, are meant to continue this great creation story. Think about this space, which was once open ground, and now it declares the presence of a faith community. The sanctuary, when I came this morning, was almost empty, and now it is full of your presence. So we are creating something just by being here together this morning. Creating something new always takes some courage. But in order to find that courage, we also need to encourage one another to be creative. So with courage and encouragement, what could we become? I love the fact that the board's project this summer is called Dreaming Big. That, to me, feels very creative. In our individual lives and in our collective lives, our creative spirit calls to us, hoping that we will be open to it, that we will hear it, and bring it into being. May each of us see our lives as a creative act and allow our very lives to be works of art. May it be so. Amen. Our choir did such a marvelous job of singing our anthem this morning. We are, and now we are going to sing it as well. It is not an easy piece, but we are going to practice letting our inner critics go to create a joyful noise. So whether you've been told you can sing or not, I encourage you to stand in body or spirit as we sing this together for the pure fun of it.
One of the ways we live out our mission to create loving community is to contribute financially to the ministries of this congregation and to the good work of our community partners. Our offering this month goes to Mustard Seed Community Health, located in the Cottage Grove neighborhood in East Greensboro, and nationally recognized as a model for integrated care. Mustard Seed Community Health's patients are some of the most vulnerable people in Guilford County. Many don't have health insurance. Many are living in homes that make them and their families sicker, and many are struggling with trauma or struggling simply to put healthy food on the table. Before the Mustard Seed Community Health Clinic opened in 2013, many people went without health care until their problems became acute or even irreversible. If you'd like to make a contribution for our offering to be split with Mustard Seed Community Health, you can do so at the link in the description of this video. You can text GIVE to the number in your order of service. You can also mail a check. Ushers will come forward to collect the offering, which will now be gratefully received. Will you join me in our chalice extinguishing words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I have a couple of announcements. If you are online and you'd like to get more connected, please click the link in the description of this YouTube and let us know that you would like us to connect with you. If you're in person, you can fill out a pink form at the visitors table, visit our website for contact information, or simply stick around after worship for our post-worship reflection. I invite you all to join me after you all grab some coffee as we reflect on how the message this morning might be speaking in your life today. Exploring the membership class is happening this coming Saturday from 10 to 3. Let Julie Hamilton know if you are interested in attending. You can reach her at uugreensboro@gmail.com. And the Parents' Night Out is also happening this coming Saturday from 4 to 7. Feel free to drop your children off with our pals for that. And now I offer you this, I'm sorry, you have one announcement. Sorry, go ahead.
Today at 3 p.m. is our second Congregational Music Makers Jam. So if you play any instruments, if you just want to bang on some drums, sing some songs, you can join us here at 3 p.m. in the sanctuary. Hope to see you there.
Thank you, Luke. I leave you with these words. May you find deep peace of creation flowing in your spirit. May your senses awake to the creative spark that lives within you. May you walk in beauty and seek to create beauty wherever you go. May you take the risk of discovering the divine within you and around you. And may the Spirit of life bless you with courage and hope as you live creatively with others by your side. Amen. Let's stand for our benediction hymn.